Hello, America. I'm Erick Erickson. This is the afternoon briefing. Here are the 4 stories that matter most right now for you this afternoon. Today, President Trump announced a delay in imposing new tariffs on European Union imports, a move that sent U.S. stock markets soaring. The Dow Jones Industrial Average jumped over 700 points, and tech stocks surged. The postponement came after a call with European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, with both sides agreeing to resume trade negotiations before the July 9th deadline. However, the delay doesn't mean the threat has vanished. The administration is still considering significant tariffs on foreign-made iPhones, which could push prices to unprecedented levels. Analysts warn that such tariffs would increase the cost of an iPhone by up to 50%, potentially making them luxury items beyond the reach of many Americans. Now, conservatives believe in strong borders and strong industries, but we also believe in the free market. We can't ignore that tariffs are essentially taxes paid by American consumers. When you slap a tax on imports, companies like Apple don't eat the cost. They pass it along to you and me. That means working-class families end up subsidizing a trade strategy that should be aimed squarely at global competitors, not the American wallet. President Trump is right to press European and Chinese leaders to play fair. They've gamed the system for decades. But we've got to remember that long-term solutions are not protectionism, but reciprocity, mutual lowering of barriers that allow innovation, not cronyism, to flourish. And tariffs love to cause cronyism to flourish. Moreover, conservatives need to ask, why are we so dependent on foreign manufacturing in the first place? It's not just about tariffs. It's about rebuilding American industry, tax incentives for domestic production, regulatory reform, energy independence. That's how you get Apple to build iPhones in Ohio instead of China. Don't tax them, innovate. So while the markets rallied today, the story isn't over. The president has a powerful tool in tariffs, but like all tools, it needs to be used with skill, not just force. Tariffs should be leverage, not lifestyle. In a significant move, the United States and Argentina have partnered to launch an alternative health system aimed at improving healthcare access and affordability. The initiative focuses on leveraging technology and public-private partnerships to deliver better health outcomes. At first glance, this might seem like a minor headline, but it's actually a big deal. For years, conservatives have argued the solution to healthcare is not more government, but more innovation. What the Trump administration and Argentina are doing here is putting that principle into practice. Rather than building a massive federal bureaucracy like Obamacare, this system builds partnerships with the private sector. It encourages entrepreneurship. It says you solve the problem, not Washington or Buenos Aires, and certainly not the World Health Organization. Why it matters? Because healthcare is personal. It's about your doctor, your treatment, your family. A one-size-fits-all government solution can't adapt to the complexities of human health, but private companies can if the government gets out of the way. By partnering with Argentina, we're also sending a message to the world. The American model is about freedom and competition, not socialism and stagnation. The new system may serve as a template for other nations, and it's a win for soft power, American leadership, not through mandates, but through collaboration with our partners. There are risks, of course. Implementation will be hard. Corruption is always a threat in international ventures, but the principle is sound and the direction is right, and it undermines the World Health Organization as China tries to infest it. If we want to fix healthcare, we must unleash the free market. Today's announcement is a great step in that direction. The Trump administration has argued that U.S. embassies and consulates need to reconsider student visas, and in fact today are ordering embassies and consulates to do just that. Halt student visa interviews as it considers expanding social media vetting for all foreign students. Simultaneously, it's proposing a dramatic tax hike on university endowments, targeting elite institutions that have long benefited from federal tax breaks while drifting further from American values. Let's take the visa issue first. Critics are calling it xenophobic, but it's about national security. We've allowed far too many people into the country under the guise of education, only to later discover they were stealing intellectual property or fueling political unrest. Social media vetting is common sense. What someone posts online often reveals what they really believe. If a foreign applicant posts anti-American screeds, supports terror groups, or advocates violence, should they be allowed to study here? Of course not. Under the endowment tax, some of the richest institutions in the world, Harvard, Yale, Stanford, they've got billions socked away, and they're fueling anti-Semitism in the country. They use their wealth not to lower tuition, but to build ideological empires. They're indoctrinating students, hiring DEI officers, and they're pushing divisive theories like critical race theory. Meanwhile, families are drowning in student loan debt here. Middle-class parents are priced out. These schools, dripping with cash, sit on their piles of gold like dragons. Conservatives believe in free speech, academic freedom, and excellence in education. But when universities become tax shelters for progressive ideologies, the government has every right to demand accountability. The Trump administration isn't punishing education. It's asking, if you take taxpayer dollars, shouldn't you serve the taxpayers? We must return our universities to their core mission, teaching, not preaching, and vetting those who enter our borders and our classrooms as part of that restoration. The new humanitarian and distribution program in Gaza, backed by the United States and Israel, is running into problems overseas. Hamas is executing people, claiming that they're thieves. This is an inevitable result of dealing with terror regimes. Gaza is not governed, it's ruled by Hamas, and aid, no matter how well-intentioned, cannot fix what's fundamentally a moral and political crisis. The Biden era would have ignored this. The Trump administration is taking it seriously, and that brings us to the Iran story. President Trump repeatedly warned Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu not to launch a strike on Iran, urging patience while the U.S. explores diplomatic options. It's a tricky moment. Conservatives support Israel's right to defend itself, always. Iran remains the world's top state sponsor of terror. They cannot be allowed to develop nuclear weapons. Trump's warning to Israel may frustrate some hawks, but it's worth noting this isn't appeasement. It's a reminder that any Israeli strike would provoke regional chaos, and we've got chaos in Gaza right now with this aid package. The U.S. has got to be ready and must coordinate and must act in concert with its allies. If diplomacy fails, there can be no hesitation. Iran's got to be stopped. The chaos in Gaza is a reminder of what happens when evil is left unchecked. The Iran talks are a chance to avoid a bigger war. But conservatives need to hold the line, peace through strength, no peace through weakness. I'm Erick Erickson. This is the afternoon briefing, the 4 stories you need to know about this afternoon as you head home from work. Be sure to sure to subscribe to our YouTube page and share this. It helps us grow the product. Thanks very much for watching.